Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second episode of the Ringside Seat Pro Wrestling Podcast. Back at you for the second week in a row. I'm Phil Nunziata.
I'm Billy Hornby.
And I'm Jake Cameron.
So after another week of pro wrestling in the books, let's start analyzing it. A good week of Raw, I gotta say. A lot of stuff went down. Let's start from the very beginning. Seth Rollins added to the main event of Royal Rumble. I cannot be happy about this. I think it saves an otherwise, repetitive, boring main event. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I mean, they were building this whole thing up as the final chapter, but then again, Brock is dominated at both SummerSlam and Night of Champions with a heavy emphasis on SummerSlam.
Yeah, I mean, potentially Rollins could win the title and still hold the Money in the Bank, which would be a groundbreaking thing. But
yeah, no one's ever done that before.
Yeah, I don't know if who he would beat, or maybe he could lose and then cash in the same night and still win. And
yeah, I mean that'd be the perfect opportunity. If Rollins were to win the title at the Rumble, he were to go into Fastlane and he were to lose the title, or he could go on to WrestleMania, lose the title, he could just say, hang on, I'm cashing the Money in the Bank, and then he could win it then. It's the perfect fallback plan.
I think it definitely opens a lot of possibilities. When it first happened initially, I thought, okay, there's rumors that Brock wants to leave sooner than later. This is the perfect way, basic booking, that he can lose the belt without getting pinned. I mean, obviously. And like you guys said, Seth Rollins can come extremely close, and Cena could eke out a victory over him, and cash in immediately. So he could literally get a seventh grade do over here in the middle of the match. So it definitely sets up plenty of things, and I think that's what's going to make it interesting, because I don't think anybody had the mental capacity to sit through another Lesnar Cena match, especially the third title match in a row, essentially.
Suplex, repeat, suplex, repeat, suplex, repeat.
If you had a few more Germans in that match, you would have won the World Cup. That's all I'm saying.
I would agree with you there, my man.
Yeah, it's good to have him in there to spice it up, and hopefully he'll come out with the win. Will be ideal, but who knows with...
And ironically, for some reason, I didn't even think of the fact that, yes, he could win the belt and still have the Money in the Bank. Does he still just hang on to it in case he loses it? Does he, is it one of those things where he can forfeit it and, another match can happen for it? That would open a whole new can of worms that I'd legitimately need to watch Raw to see what happened, which, if that's what they want, that's what they get.
But like I said, it's the perfect, fallback plan. I mean, if Rollins were to lose the title at either the next two pay-per-views, he could cash in Money in the Bank, become the champion again. But to your point, he could win the title at the Rumble, then forfeit the Money in the Bank briefcase. Then you could have a Money in the Bank ladder match, or just have a match where the winner gets the briefcase. You have many different scenarios for after the Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, I always preferred the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania. When they made it its own pay-per-view, it's made for some good matches, and it kind of gave you a gimmick show that, made sense. So, I don't dislike it too much, but I definitely prefer the original concept of it. And obviously the reason that Seth Rollins got into this main event is with the Authority being back. He said, you did such a great job while we were gone. We're going to reward you. And this whole show, as we go through it, is, the Authority standing there with both middle fingers extended. And that, couldn't have been any more apparent. Later, the next match, of course, was Ziggler and Bad News Barrett for the title, in which Ziggler wins, and, typical come from behind Ziggler fashion. Kane comes out and says, by the way, I forgot to tell you, this is a 2 out of 3 falls match, which I thought was risky booking, because this doesn't make Barrett look strong at all. I totally understand why they gave him the belt back, because he never lost it. But he won the first fall immediately, and I'm like, if they let Ziggler kind of hulk up and win, then you've crushed Barrett. And even though he wins the title back, it didn't make him look the best. So we have a new IC champion. I think it turned out as best as they could have done it, but I thought it was risky booking from the get-go.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, when you're talking about, like Ziggler, who's like one of the best like IC champions that there's been in like a couple months, and you throw in Bad News Barrett, he beats Barrett, and then Kane comes out and says, no, it's a 2 out of 3 falls match. I do agree it is risky booking.
Well, I mean, I believe Barrett was still a fine champion, but what's next for Ziggler is what I'm wondering after he lost his title.
Well, obviously, this whole firing thing, which we'll probably get into later in the show, is probably just part of the storyline, right? I mean, they wouldn't just like, you're fired, get out of here, like literally, right?
Well, I think obviously we're gonna, next week we'll see something happen where all the guys show up, or Cena will threaten to walk out to get them back in or something. I'm not too concerned about that. I mean, Ziggler's at the point though, like he's won the IC title like several times in this calendar year. Having the belt doesn't help him like it did initially. Like when he finally got back to that point when he beat the Miz or whatever, and he was able to get back on that podium, it definitely helped. I don't know that he needs that belt anymore. He might go on to better things. I think he has an outside shot to win the Rumble. I don't know how confident I am with that, but I don't think he's going to stay in that mid card for much longer.
He would make a great WWE World Heavyweight Champion, to be honest.
Hopefully within the next year we see that.
Yeah. So as I could definitely see that happen because his world title reigns were never anything special. I think it almost hurts him that he has won it because you can't not the WWE title, of course.
Underdog factor.
Yeah, it kind of eliminates that. So what happens with Ziggler? I think we're all excited to see, and I think I speak for everybody when I say don't screw this up. As Raw went on, I'm pretty sure the next match, there might be one that I'm forgetting, but they had Harper and Rowan thrown together in a match. Was that next, or was that just shortly after?
Well, the Ascension fought, the squash match.
Which we touched on this last week. You're on the main roster. Why are uncontracted jobbers on Raw? Like, this annoyed me in NXT. Why is this on Monday Night Raw? This is not 1987. This is not, that old Raw where you did that. That's not what Raw is meant to do anymore.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Speaking of 1987, like how they just squashed, talk so much trash about LOD and Demolition. You hear about Lance Storm, how he was like, I'm not going to watch Raw because, he felt so disrespected about, the way they were trashing them. Personally, I don't think they should even have a microphone in their hands. They need a mouthpiece,
absolutely, like a
lead them.
Like get James Mitchell. He was the voice. He was the mouthpiece for Abyss.
Yeah, someone demonic like that. Exactly.
Yeah, like a Paul Bearer type character. Even if it's got to be, obviously somebody different. But even if they make somebody up completely, like a darker Zeb Coulter in a way, I think will be perfect for that. But
imagine like Zeb Coulter like coming out like a Paul Bearer type character. Like he still has the mustache, but he has that whole dark side like gimmick.
Pretty much, I need to take Zeb Coulter and push him through a hot topic and see what happens. Then he'll be dressed for the occasion. But so after that squash match we had.
Yeah, and after that was Roman Reigns and Big Show.
Roman Reigns, I knew I was forgetting one. Which they did this on SmackDown, I think, too. Like they're really making this a thing.
It was on SmackDown, and then Roman Reigns like put the announce table on top of Big Show, which has happened many times.
Mm-hmm. But this was your typical thing, and I would have Big Show got DQ'd, right? He hit Roman with the chair.
Yeah. Into the stairs.
Yeah, which I mean to me accomplishes really nothing. I think we talked about it last week with the Rumble coming up. Roman, if our opinions didn't matter, which, you can argue that, creative cares if they do. Roman was the guy that they definitely wanted to win, initially. And if they're really trying to make him a believable, like, potential winner, like, they're not doing the very good job. Like, they should have had him clobber Big Show and just make, CM Punk told the story better, but they got to make Roman look really strong. Like, they have to figure out how to make that happen. Losing or winning by DQ against the Big Show, I don't think really does that.
Yeah, just like do like a Stone Cold Steve Austin thing. Just have him go through the locker room and spear everybody.
Mm.
Just get him to wear a shirt like a Kevin Steen-esque shirt, like spear everybody.
That would be good. So I'm pretty sure after that we got to Harper and Rowan, which, Billy, I'll let you take this one real quick. It pissed me off in a way that we got this match with no build-up, because that could have been a really good feud, and this doesn't 100% ruin it, but they didn't acknowledge, the announcers did, but there was no acknowledgement that they were in the Wyatt family together. There was no acknowledgement that they went their separate ways. This could have easily been, there's a million ways you could have gone with the story, and they decided to throw it out there. What do you think?
Well, I think they still can have a future with the story because it wasn't really a fair one-on-one with the J&J Security as the referees, but
right.
If they were to, they could build it up. If like you're saying, with more back history, could lead to a pay-per-view style match, with high build up to it.
I'm going on a constant TNA theme here tonight, and I don't know why, but make it like a Christian Cage Rhino type thing. Like these two guys wrestled together, they traveled together, they were family members essentially, and then Bray Wyatt just said, "Go, you're free, my darlings, you kids have fun," and then they just kind of went their separate ways, and they had a clash of opinions, and it led to this. But no, it's who's facing Rowan tonight? Luke Harper. Oh, that guy. All right, send him out there. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the announcers mentioned, they're former Wyatt family members, but, when they got in the ring, there was no epic stare down like there was in, Survivor Series. And, Billy makes a great point, it wasn't meant to be that. It was meant to be, like I said, the Authority just, giving middle fingers to everybody because they're back and they can do what they want. So, I told everybody. But I get that. I just think, they could have mixed it up a little bit. They could have had Ryback and Harper and done the same thing, and things like that. But what was next? I'm trying to remember. Was the ambulance next?
We skipped over Nikki Bella and Natalia had a match.
Yeah.
It was a Total Divas match. Let's skip it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of storylines that they could be leading to, and hopefully, I'd like to see Natalia and Paige, but
I would too. That would be the only best positive thing that could come out of whatever the hell they're doing.
Yeah, that would be at WrestleMania, but it would probably be a Total Divas versus
the non-Total
Divas match or some stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
At Survivor Series 2013, they had a Survivor Series elimination match. It was Team Total Divas versus Team True Divas. It was Caitlin's last match. For those of you who remember Caitlyn.
Yeah, but Natalia won that match with
the sharpshooter.
Well, she got the roll-up because...
Oh, yeah, it was the roll-up. My fault. I'm going on 30 minutes of sleep here. I didn't sleep at all last night.
Gotcha. But, I mean, the thing, last year's Mania had, the Diva six-pack challenge with AJ Lee, which they tend to do that a lot at Mania. Let's just put as many pretty women in the ring at once just to show you that we have female wrestlers. It's really been a good while since we've had, they've done it, of course, but, like you said, Natalia and Paige, you can build that up to be a legitimate, they always put it on before the main event for some reason. The buzz kill the crowd. But that, if you don't want people to fall asleep before your main event and you need to put a Divas match there, there's no other way to go, I think.
Yeah, if they were to build it up correctly, it could be Lita versus Trish.
They really could. They have that potential. I have no problem believing that.
Yeah, just gotta get the Bellas out of there.
Yeah, oh my god, the Bellas. I mean, we touched on this last week, but The only thing we can do is